Hello everybody, Dee Dee here for May Arts today, and I thought it would be fun to show you how to make some 3D embellishments that you can use for a multitude of things. You can put them on cards, or you can put them on your scrapbook pages, you could use them as tags, you could close up packages with them, and I'll show you a couple ways to use them in the rest of the blog post. But for this portion I'm just going to show you how to build them. And I have some pieces here that I've already cut out and distressed. This is just a 1-inch wide piece of craft paper, and I used an edge punch to get a decorative edge on it. This is a die cut, this is a punch, this is a punch, you know, that kind of stuff. Just some different shapes, like a banner piece. I've cut out the edges. And then I've rolled a piece of paper and put a pearl in it to make one of those really popular rolled flowers. I have 2 buttons, a little piece of mini garland. I have some lime green polka dot washi tape. I picked this up at Gauche Alchemy. And then I also have, of course, my ribbons. I have this SK01. It's really thin. It's a 1/8 100% white silk from May Arts. I've got SM10, which is like this natural colored, really thin burlap twine. And I've got 3925809, which is this like sheer ivory or off-white colored box pleat. It's really gorgeous. And I'm just going to use these materials as well as a hot glue gun and a wet glue to build some 3D embellishments. And I'm going to start off, I think I'm going to do this one first. So I know I want this, and from here really it's mostly just about like playing around with things you've got or things you've built. And I've kind of already got an idea in mind for most of mine. Let's see, I think I want to run this, my silk ribbon, through my green button. And a lot of times I just twirl the edge because I'm probably going to cut it off anyways. So I just twirl it up so it's nice and thin, and then run it through my button. See, it just comes through the back. And this just makes it easy to thread real quick. And when I'm threading a button with ribbon, I go in through the front and come out through the back that's right by it. I don't go diagonal. But on my third through, I will go diagonal from where I'm coming out and go in, and then I've only got the 4th hole left, which it happens to be right beside where I came through. Oh, it's kind of chilly, so my hands are a little shaky. Sorry. Okay, then come through, and what doing it that way is going to provide me with a perfect crossbow. Like when I'm done, then my 2 pieces are across from each other rather than beside each other. And that's just for looks. I mean, if you don't want it that way, don't worry about it, but that's how I do it. So then I'm going to tie my bow. It got cold really fast here in Las Vegas, so all of a sudden we've got temperatures in the 40s and we're not really used to it. I want it to be a little bit smaller bow, so then I just bring those pieces in and tie it tight. And actually, I think that's where I want to stop on this one. I really like the way that looks. And, you know, before you glue anything down, just play around with them. But so I've got this like kind of starburst, or you know, this edged one, just plain white cardstock, this mini tinsel, and then yeah, there we go, very Christmassy, very festive. And depending on what I'm gluing, that's why I have 2 types of glue. So I like to use wet glue when I'm doing paper to paper because it creates like a really fast permanent bond. And just make sure I've got it in the center. Get stuff out of the way so you can see. Wet glue to wet glue. Or, I mean, paper to paper, use wet glue. But when I'm doing anything bulky or anything like that, then that's when I kind of bring out the hot glue. And I'm not going to use a lot. I'm just going to put a little dab right in the middle. And I like to avoid strings if at all possible, so that's why I don't use much. And then I just know I want that guy right in the middle there. And it's okay to have a little, you know, a little fluff, a little 3D-ness. I mean, they're pretty and people like to see texture. And then, because I'm doing plastic to my mini garland, then I'm also going to use hot glue here. And this really helps when you glue on the back of your button like that. It really helps to keep your ribbon in place too. And you know, earlier I talked about trimming off these. I have my scissors. I didn't list that in my supplies, but I'm going to get rid of this edge that I kind of twisted, unless I twisted the other side too, but I didn't. Get rid of that. But other than that, I really like it long. Kind of fun, huh? Let's move on to the next one. So I've just got, again, like a 1 inch wide, it's probably like 2.5, 3 inches long piece of white cardstock, a distress scallop circle for that one. That goes over there. And this is where I'm going to pull out my washi tape. This is a new love for me. I know it's been really popular for quite a while now, but I just got some in the last couple weeks, literally, and it is so cool. And you can get it in any pattern and color too, which is great. So, well, that's alright. I was going to rip it anyways, but then I'm just going to plop it down in the middle. I don't really care if it's perfectly centered. It's just to add a little bit more color. It matches that lime green button that we had earlier. It's really great. Okay. So, and this paper, well, I should probably finish it, huh? It's paper to paper, but, and then this is where my box pleat comes into play. I'm going to stick that box pleat there, and then this rolled flower. Yeah, that looks good. Let's do that. Okay, so now we go paper to paper, just a little bit in the middle. I kind of over glued it. That's alright. It'll just get on the desk. No big deal. I'll clean it off later. Glue it down. And then here would be another place I'm going to go back to hot glue. Some people don't like hot glue, but I really like it. It's fast, it's done, it's dry, and it sticks almost anything to anything. So I'm kind of an instant gratification girl, I guess. So pop that down in the middle. And I've just folded my ribbon at an angle on itself. And glue that down. And then I'm also going to do hot glue for this because it might look like paper to paper, but we've got some 3D going on here and we want to get some glue through that ribbon. There we go. Just a little there. Alright, there's our second one. So we already have 1 and 2 done. And then 3 is just with the pieces that we have left over. And so here, this is a 1 inch wide and maybe like 3.5 inches long. This is a die cut. And I have distressed the edges of some of these pieces before I started the video, just to cut down on length. And I used walnut stain for that, okay? And then this is a die cut also. Any style tag, small tag, if you just have some laying around, that'll work too. You don't have to die cut it yourself. It's plain white cardstock. This is that jute twine, and I've got a vintage button. And again, I'm gonna string my button the same way I did before. Once through the front, through the back, its neighbor, like right next to it. Don't go diagonal. Now when you're going back through the front, go diagonal. I'm not sure if you're seeing this, and I apologize if my hands are in the way. Through the diagonal hole. And then we've only got that neighbor left. And I have managed to untwist my twine a little bit. So I'll just snip it off and then it should be good to get back through. There we go. See? And then just tie a bow again. And on this one I think I'm going to cut off all the extra. I don't want this one to be long, because when you're working on things like this, variation in sizes and textures and colors, that really plays in, and that really helps everything look more professional, and you know, it just really like is pleasing to people. You don't always want to use the same length of everything, or my fingers are so cold today. I apologize for taking so long to tie a bow. Okay, there we go. So again, I want a kind of a smaller bow, and I think I want my edges to stop right where my bow stops, right where the loops on my bow stop. Yeah, I like that a lot. Okay, so after that, I'm doing, this is what I'm going to go with. Okay, and then, oh, I almost forgot. But first, before I do too much, before I start gluing, I don't have any green on this piece, and I do want them to match, not be too matchy-matchy, but to match still. So I'm going to put a little bit of washi tape on my tag, and that also keeps the tag from being too boring. And this tape is great. I'll just wrap it right around the back. And I think I want another one. A little bit further up, a little bit shorter. Remember, keep the textures a little different. Or, I mean the lengths, not the textures. Put a little space between the two. Make sure it's straight. Yeah, that looks good. Wrap it around the back. There we go. Yeah, that looks finished. Okay, and so now I'm going to glue. I'm gluing paper to paper, so I'm using my wet glue. Make sure it's centered and press. Get a good bond. Paper to paper again, so wet glue. And this wet glue versus hot glue, this is personal preference. Some people don't even like using hot glue, but I'm a pretty big fan. And I also like that when I use hot glue on the back of a button, it sets my twine in place. It makes it permanent. It's not going to come out. So hot glue for the back of my button. Plop it down in the middle, and we're done. And now we have 3 really super cute, like 3D paper embellishments that match. They go together, but they're not too matchy-matchy. Each of them is different. Each of them is pretty on its own. They don't have to go on the same package. They can all go on different packages. They can all go on different cards. They can all go on the same card. Whatever you want to use them for. And I'll show a couple variations in the rest of the blog post. Thanks for tuning in today, guys. Bye.